Hi guys, welcome to Brandex Reviews, another edition of BXR Mailbag. Now in this one I'm going to be talking a little bit about the Suicide Squad film and the DC Cinematic Universe itself, which at this stage that I'm recording this, today is the 20th of May 2015. We only have one film in the DC Cinematic Universe, but we'll get to the question anyway and see what there is to say about it now. It's from Paul Cage, who is a very frequent contributor to the mailbag section, so asks some great questions, and this is one of them. So here's the question. What are your thoughts about the recently released Suicide Squad picture? Does it fill you with hope or doubt? Also, who are the Suicide Squad? And a bit of background on the characters. How does the Joker fit in? So yeah, as I say, it's hard to tell at this moment in time whether the film's going to be good or bad in terms of the precedent for this cinematic universe, because we've only had one film, and that was Man of Steel in 2013. A 3-year gap between that and the next film in line, and that next film is Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Trailer is out for that already. It looks great. It's another Zack Snyder film, which visually a very good film. There's a lot of his. But the film after that is The Suicide Squad, which is obviously what Paul has been mentioning here. Suicide Squad, I don't know a huge amount about it, I'll be honest. I aren't massively into comics compared to others. I tend to read comics if it ties in with a film. I'm a fan of the films. It's like Sin City. I love the graphic novels, but it wasn't until I saw the film that I actually wanted to read the comics. So I'm not pretending to have a lot of comic book knowledge, but having done a bit of research for this, and also having seen the Assault on Arkham animated film that came out last year, which is really great. DC are really good at animated movies. In fact, I would say DC in the animated department seems to outdo, in my opinion, Marvel a lot, especially their animated films. But I'd recommend that anyway. Assault on Arkham. It has what is kind of Suicide Squad and some of the characters from that. I don't think it's going to be really what the film is going to be, but you get sort of thematically, I think you'll pick up some stuff if you watch that. So I would watch that rather than listening to me ramble about stuff that I don't fully know about anyway. But as a film itself, from a guy who's just following the production of this film, the characters do seem to be very much in line with what the film director David Ayer works with. Now, if you've seen some of my previous reviews, I know I reviewed Sabotage. Can't remember if I did Fury. I don't think I did review that one, but that was the one with Brad Pitt, the Second World War one about the tank, called Fury. Sabotage was an Arnold Schwarzenegger film. I did 2 videos about that, and I did a bit of a talk about David Ayer, the film director. He's also done things like End of Watch, which is a great film. Definitely recommend that. He doesn't always direct, he sometimes writes, produces. Things like Training Day and many others. Many of those kind of gritty usually cops in LA action films, where the heroes are usually kind of douchebags a lot of the time, or the main characters may just be douchebags. Another one is, what's the name of that Kurt Russell one? Dark Blue, that's another one, another David Ayer one. I don't think he directed that, I think it was Ron Shelton that directed it, but he wrote it or produced it anyway, did David Ayer. So he's doing the Suicide Squad films. So what he does best, what he does predominantly, is films about bad guys getting into shit, basically. So that's essentially, from what I understand, what Suicide Squad is. It's a load of anti-heroes, or maybe even villains, I guess, in this universe, that are sent out on a mission to do something that you wouldn't normally send anyone else to do. Kind of like the Expendables in a way. People that are sent out on a death mission, one is very dangerous, one where they're not expected to come back alive, and that's pretty much what they do. If you've seen Escape from New York, the John Carpenter film, the character Snake Plissken in that, similar thing, you know, they send in Snake Plissken not really caring if he comes out dead or alive. So I think that's kind of what you're going to see in this with these characters. Now, part of your question is, where does the Joker fit into this? Well, that is a really good question. There's probably information out there that I haven't read in terms of spoilers, but there's a number of ways that they can do this. I get the sense that the Joker is going to be in this in a similar capacity to what we saw Anthony Hopkins' Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs, in that he is probably going to be the biggest badass. I mean, no doubt that's what he's going to be in this film, but I don't think he's going to be the main focal villain of the film. I think he will just be somebody that kind of comes into it, not just for a couple of token scenes. I'm pretty sure he's got a lot of scenes in this film, judging on what's been seen getting filmed. Particularly in the last few days, there have been some set photographs and videos as well where we've seen him. And we want to see kind of how he moves, how he kind of swaggers and stuff like that, and seems very different, almost kind of homoerotic compared to some of the other Jokers we've seen, such as Heath Ledger and Jack Nicholson. Cesar Romero, some people have said, more like Cesar Romero than any of the other Jokers. That's the Joker from the 60s. I mean, not exactly like that, but he does come across as a real brutal bastard in comparison to the other Jokers that have come before. You know, he will pistol whip a female. He, will do all this kind of stuff. I mean, the other Jokers were pretty brutal as well. Don't get me wrong, but this one does seem to be just really just tweaked to a degree that those others weren't. I'm not saying it's going to be better or worse than Heath Ledger. I'm just saying that's in the specifics. That's kind of what I'm getting out of it and what I've seen. What I've read as well, what they've said. So I get the sense that the Joker is going to be somebody in this that it could be that the Suicide Squad are sent after him, or it could just be that they're sent on a mission and maybe the Joker has some useful knowledge that they kind of need to go to him as a part of a larger mission. I don't know. Kind of like I say, Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs. They had to go to the basement to consult with Hannibal Lecter to go after the main bad guy, Buffalo Bill character in that film. But Hannibal Lecter was probably the more dangerous character in that. So in this, you can have the Joker, who is the more dangerous character, but he's not the mission. Presumably, at the end of the film, things will change. He'll either escape or whatever. I don't know. I mean, some of the videos and photographs that I've seen, the Joker does seem to be kind of out on the rampage anyway. It's been suggested, some of the photographs where he's been seen with Harley Quinn's pointing a gun at him. It's been suggested that those are flashbacks. I don't know. There's no way of knowing. So it's just theories at this point. But no, in my opinion, I don't think this Joker's going to disappoint. And to answer your question, how he fits in the film, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I could be wrong. Watch this video back in over a year's time when the film comes out, and we'll know differently. I believe it's out in July of 2016, so quite a long time to wait yet. It's quite interesting to see Will Smith in this film as well, because he does tend to be an actor that insists a lot of the time in stealing every scene, not just being the main guy, but really just, like, there was that famous thing where Quentin Tarantino was talking about Django Unchained, and originally it was going to be Will Smith in that film, not Jamie Foxx. And Will Smith was basically questioning everything in the script, like, well, this other character, he shoots somebody. It should be me doing that. I'm Will Smith. I should be ruling that scene. And why is this guy having a funny bit? I'm the funny guy. It should be me. I should be saying that line. To be fair, it's Will Smith. He's kind of earned it. But at the same time, yeah, it's not all about you. There are other actors out there. There's a lot of other talent out there. I don't know this for sure, but I know Tom Hardy was going to be in the Suicide Squad film, and he departed from that. I don't know whether it was because of the whole thing with Will Smith. I hope not. I'd like to think that that's not the case, because I am a Will Smith fan, and I can see where he's coming from when he's like that, but yeah, not good, especially when you're doing an ensemble film like this with so many other good actors and other good characters other than the one you're playing. You don't really need that kind of guy in this. At least he's not got his son in this film anyway. that's one main thing. But that's he's playing Deadshot anyway, and it's going to be interesting to see how all these characters kind of fit together. In some ways, I'm more excited about this film than I am Batman v Superman. Just it seems more broader, but that's because, I don't know, there's still a lot of stuff about the Batman v Superman film that we don't know. I have no idea how Wonder Woman fits in this film, and Aquaman, I don't know, like, are they going to be in it for 5 minutes? Are they going to be in it for 45 minutes? I don't know. So, yeah, I think a lot of people feel the same as well. I think that this Suicide Squad film has really kind of captured imaginations. It's great that DC are doing this. I know I've kind of been critical about the way that DC, the management behind the production, not anything that really reflects what you see on film, but the kind of the way that they promote things, the way that they announce things. I've kind of had disagreements with the way they've done it, and just think, well, they could have handled that better. Like when they've announced their slate of films, Marvel did an event and had fans and press there, and they kind of rolled everything out. They had the actors there on stage who were interacting with the audience. It was a great event, whether you were there or not. I mean, it was great to watch on YouTube. DC just kind of announced everything in like a shareholders conference call thing, and it's kind of, yeah, it was the information in and of itself was good, but it's like they could have handled it better. But despite all that, I think that the films that they are actually making, what is going to come out on screen, is really going to be great. And I've said this before, Marvel obviously at this moment in time are the bigger film franchise than DC, the actual cinematic universe that they're going with. But I think with one film, at least Batman v Superman, if that film is awesome, they can catch up to Marvel in terms of excitement for future stuff. And especially with Suicide Squad, if they have 2 out-of-the-park films in a row like that, back-to-back, DC's cinematic universe and the credibility of that is really going to be up there with Marvel, basically. Maybe even more refreshing, because the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been around for a while now, and the Avengers Age of Ultron film was good, but we've seen the Avengers before. It's not tired, but it's not exactly as fresh as it once was. I think a lot of people feel that way. Still a great film, don't get me wrong, not slating it or anything, but I think once DC comes out, and they've got a different tone as well, it's a darker tone, but it's got aspects of humour in it. I think that might just kind of hit a nerve with a different group of film nerds, I don't know, film geeks, that the Marvel Cinematic Universe doesn't kind of touch. So we'll see anyway. I'm kind of rambling on now here, so I know I'm kind of getting off topic, but I hope that answers your question anyway. I know you also asked about the photographs as well. I've talked about the set photographs. You were asking about the cast photograph. Looks great. Some people have taken exception to the Harley Quinn, the way she's dressed. From what I understand, there's going to be a lot of costumes in this. The way the photographs we've seen her in, the stuff that she's wearing there, isn't necessarily going to be all you get in terms of Harley Quinn. There could be a more traditional costume that she wears in there at some point. But even then, I don't have a problem with it. I think she looks the part now. We do also know that the tattoos that the Joker had in that photograph, it was said that the tattoos aren't going to make it into the film, and I'd heard that and kind of repeated that. I'd said that photograph of the Joker where he's wearing all the tattoos, that was just kind of a concept thing. He's not going to have the tattoos. They've said he's not going to. Well, he is going to, because even the damaged one, because if you watch the set photographs and video, he's clearly got them on display, kind of under his shirt, and also you can see his forehead. He's got the damaged one on there as well. Was it damaged? Am I making that up? I can't remember. Does it say damaged on his forehead? I think it does. But anyway, yeah, that was that's just one other aspect of it. So as for the photographs, the ones that came out a couple of weeks ago now, there was the Deadshot one, and also the one of the Suicide Squad itself. Looks really great, and just the vibe of the film just seems to be something that could really be great and fresh for a comic book superhero universe movie franchise. So I'm going to leave it there because I can see I'm seriously rambling now. So that's my mailbag video for this section, for this subject. If you want to make any more submissions, we're also on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. There's a bit of a thing coming up at the end of this video, kind of showing you where to find all that stuff. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much, Paul Cage, for the submission. Keep them coming, because yours have been really great. I don't mind doing them. So I guess I'll just leave it there and say thank you very much for watching. Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Just so you know, for more news, reviews and retrospectives, you can like our page on Facebook, simply called Brand X Reviews. But as well as that, you can also subscribe to us on YouTube via this video. You can also bookmark our website, which is brandxreviews.com, which is pretty much a central hub for everything that I've just mentioned. So check that out and we will see you next time. Thank you very much.